Nigel Marven, a time-traveling zoologist and a man who has had his fair share of close scrapes with dinosaurs. But the Earth has witnessed more terrible monsters than these. What Nigel is about to learn about prehistory is that no matter how bad things get on land, the one thing you should never ever do is get in the water.
He's coming closer.
Hello everybody and welcome back to my 580 subscriber special, in which I'll be breaking down the second episode of Sea Monsters, Into the Jaws of Death. Thank you so much for getting me to 580 subscribers, and let's just get right into it. It begins with a brief recap of episode 1. The episode is once again split into 3 separate segments. Segment continues on for the Devonian segment at the end of the previous episode. It is still set 360 million years ago in Ohio and was most likely filmed in either Aotearoa, New Zealand or the Bahamas. Dunkleosteus was a brachythoracian placoderm from the late Devonian, 382 to 358 million years ago, of North America, Belgium, Poland and Morocco, meaning it lived in the right place and time to appear in this segment. A 2023 study reinterpreted Dunkleosteus to be much shorter and stouter than it was depicted as in the episode. Dunkleosteus most likely had skin covering over its armor, including lips that covered its bone shears. It is likely that Dunkleosteus could bite through chainmail, and there is no direct evidence for Dunkleosteus being a cannibal, but given how common cannibalism is in nature, it is very likely. The segment is set 36 million years ago in Egypt. The mangrove scenes were actually filmed in mangrove swamps in modern Egypt, but I have no idea where the ocean scenes were filmed. Arsinoitherium was an Arsinoitheriid embryopod, an extinct order of rhinoceros-like mammals, from the late Eocene to early Oligocene, approximately 36 to 27 million years ago, of North America, meaning it lived in the right place and at approximately the right time to appear. Nigel claims that it was sexually dimorphic. While there is some evidence for this, it is thought possible that this is a difference between two species, not two sexes. It most likely didn't have a tapir-like trunk, which was carried over from its reused Merotherium model. Dorodon returns from Whale Killer. Dorodon was a Dorodontine basilosaurid from the Eocene, 41 to 31 million years ago, of Egypt, Pakistan, the US, Aotearoa, New Zealand, and Western Sahara, meaning it lived in the right place and time to appear. Basilosaurus II returns from Whale Killer. Basilosaurus was a basilosaurid archaeocete, or basal whale, from the Eocene, 41 to 33 million years ago, of the US and North Africa, meaning it lived in the right place and time to appear. When Basilosaurus first appears, it uses unedited footage of a humpback whale breaching. Basilosaurus was almost certainly unable to sing, as it lacked a melon organ. Basilosaurus is implied to have been driven to extinction by the Tethys closing between Europe and Africa, but it actually died due to global cooling, as seen in Whale Killer. The segment is set 4 million years ago in Peru. Shockingly enough, I cannot find where it was filmed. Nigel still has these megalodon jaws on the side of his house. Kelp appears. This may be Lessonia trabeculata, which is known from modern Peru. Odobenocetops was an Odobenocetopsin delphinoid, meaning it was technically a dolphin, from the Miocene to Pliocene, approximately 5 to 3 million years ago, of Chile and Peru, meaning it lived in the right place and time to appear. Nigel claims that Odobenocetops means whale that walks on its teeth. While this is technically true, it is supposed to mean something closer to Odobenus-toothed whale, with Odobenus being the genus of the walrus. Unlike what Nigel suggests, its tusk was probably too brittle to joust with. Various fish appear. It would be next to impossible to specifically identify them, especially since I could not base it on where the segment was filmed. Otodus megalodon, or as it was known at the time of production, Carcharoclynus megalodon, or as is more commonly known, just megalodon, was an otodontid, or megatoothed shark, from the early Miocene to early Pliocene, approximately 23 to 3.6 million years ago, of basically everywhere, meaning it lived at the right place and time to appear. Otodontidae is a sister to Lamnidae, the mako sharks, which differs from megalodon's placement at the time of production as a close relative of the modern great white shark, Carcharias, within Lamnidae. As such, it is portrayed here as an oval-sized great white shark, but this is very likely inaccurate. In fact, we don't really have any idea what Megalodon looked like, due to it being known only from jaws and teeth, but unfortunately, it probably didn't look like this. The Megalodon is actually undersized in this series, being shown as approximately 14 meters long, based on comparison to other creatures, when it was close to approximately 18 meters at maximum. There is actually evidence of juvenile megalodons living nearer the coast as seen in the episode. When the megalodon first appears, its fin moves backwards through the water. Remoras appear clinging to the megalodon. Based on their size compared to it, they appear to be some kind of giant remora adapted to feed from megalodon. There is no evidence of such a creature existing that I can find, but that of course doesn't prove it didn't exist. Remoras evolved in the Oligocene, and therefore would have been around by the segment setting. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for getting me to 580 subscribers. Join me next time when I'll be breaking down the final episode of Sea Monsters, To Hell and Back. I hope you have a great day. Goodbye. It actually died due to